water technologies. So we have the chance to have 3 speakers from the water technology business, which are based in Hong Kong and China. And they were going to give us some quick introduction about their companies and their innovations. We try to keep the presentation as short as we can, so we can exchange some questions and ask the people presenting some questions, try to understand more the technology, and try to understand how they do business and develop their business. So feel free to ask all kind of questions after the presentation, and learn the much you can from the speakers. We have some visitors from China mainland today, so I'm very happy to have some people from Shenzhen and Huizhou coming tonight. We have some people which are used to be long members from the community, so welcome again. A few news about the Clean Tuesday. I've been in touch with some people from Taiwan, so we might open a Clean Tuesday in Taiwan in some months later. There was also some talks about a USA Clean Tuesday coming up. So the network of professionals keep growing. Go to the website cleantuesday.com, where you can find all the Clean Tuesday chapters. Send emails to the vice president of each chapter where you need some connections, and they will be happy to connect you with some people where you might have some interest to talk to. A few updates on the next Clean Tuesday coming up in the next 2 months. There will be a Clean Tuesday on water as well on June 15 in France. Today there is a Clean Tuesday in Hong Kong, but there is also a Clean Tuesday in Nice, south of France, about energy storage. There will be another Clean Tuesday in East France at the border with Germany about water technologies on June 16. June 16 as well will be another Clean Tuesday, the Paris one, on solar and small wind applications. And our next Clean Tuesday in Hong Kong will be in September 13. And the subject is not done yet, but we come back to you very soon. Whenever you want to have a presentation here at Clean Tuesday, or if you think one of your partners or colleagues or connections might have interest to get some of this company or technologies public here, feel free to drop us an email, and we try to arrange a slot for this company or organization in the schedule of the Clean Tuesday. That's about it for the quick talks. Tonight we have 3 speakers. We're going to start with Mona Ip from Greenlink, which will talk about their various projects involving water. Then we're going to talk with Professor Chen from the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. And Antoine Mussillon from Veolia Group will present also his latest water project in Hong Kong, and tell us about what he has been implementing here. So short presentation, a lot of talks. I hope you enjoy the speak tonight. Get yourself a drink and chit-chat with people around you. They are all clean tech friends. So thank you very much, and I suggest we start with Mona. So Mona, if you'd like to join us.
Thank you. Okay, first of all, let me start with a little disclaimer. Unfortunately, actually, our discussion today, my presentation, is going to be on the micro-utility business model. A little bit different from the water topic, so I thought I was going to spice things up a little bit, except that I'm actually the first presentation, so it's a little bit, we're starting off on a bit of a tangent. But I think that some of you may find that there's actually applications or examples from the water sector as well, which use micro-utility. So I'm replacing my chairman, the chairman of Asia Clean Capital, Bruce Hicks, today. So sorry for the program change, but Bruce had to change his travel schedule. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Asia Clean Capital, ACC's experience with the what we call green utilities, micro-utility business model. Okay, so why are we speaking to you today? Basically, Asia Clean Capital designs, installs, and operates ground source heat pump systems, okay? And our main business is in the area of green utilities, so that's what I'm going to be focusing on today in the presentation. So first of all, who's actually familiar with ground source heat pump systems? Can you raise your hand? Few of you, just few of you. Well, basically, ground source heat pump is not a new technology. It's a little bit different from what people usually consider to be geothermal. Ground source heat pump is also called geo-exchange systems. And basically, basically what you're doing is you're relying on the constant temperature of the ground everywhere in the world, 365 days a year. If you go underneath the ground approximately 5 to 10 meters, you'll find that all year round, it's approximately 15 to 20 degrees Celsius anywhere in the world, whether you're in Scandinavia or if you're in Singapore or in some very hot African countries. So basically what ground source heat pump does is you pump water through a series of pipes, which don't go that deep into the ground, and you're basically using that constant temperature in the ground, that free, constant ground energy, to provide extremely efficient heating and cooling systems. Okay. So that's the basic technology. And of course, anybody who looks at building energy consumption knows that a lot of building energy consumption is in fact space heating or cooling. So this has huge energy efficiency impacts. Next slide, please. Ground source heat pump systems can be used in a variety of different types of buildings. They can be used in schools, they can be used for conference facilities, hotels, industrial facilities, anything that has large heating and cooling loads. So let's just look at the quote from the EPA, US EPA. Ground source heat pumps are the most energy efficient, cost-effective, and environmentally friendly space conditioning system available. Okay, and there's a number of different reasons why they are so efficient and why they're so popular. Of course, there's rebuilding benefits. You're drastically reducing your carbon emissions, increasing your energy through energy efficiency, of course. There's also substantial water savings. I didn't bring the figures today, but because you use a closed loop system, okay, the water circulates in the underground loops, you don't lose any water from evaporation in cooling towers. So there's substantial water savings by using ground source heat pump systems. And and then also you free up a lot of space. You use the green roofs. So before I get into the micro utility, let's just give a little bit of a backdrop about the ground source heat pump market and industry in China to explain why we're doing this. Okay. Of course, one of the big opportunities and the reason why this is an interesting industry is because of all the new build in China. I think most of you are familiar with the size, the huge size of the construction market in China. New build. Of course, there's also rising energy consumption. This is an old graph. It only goes up to 2006. But in 2009, China surpassed the US's energy consumption, gross energy consumption. And then, of course, rising energy costs. If you look at these tables, you see that Beijing and Shanghai, although they're not quite as expensive in terms of energy costs compared to some markets, it's getting pretty close and in some cases surpassing the US. And last but not least, of course, another key industry driver is the fact that energy efficiency is a real priority for China. In order for it to meet its energy reduction and carbon targets, although there's all kinds of opportunities with renewable energies, the main driver is going to be energy efficiency. And so certainly ground source heat pump solution can be part of that. Okay. So let's get down to the business. What we're using is what we call the micro utility business model, okay, in order to address this energy efficiency opportunity in China. Okay, so just a little bit of background on micro utilities and energy management companies, or EMCs, in China. Certainly with all of this action and all of this demand in the energy sector, that creates a lot of opportunities for energy supply, and you're seeing more and more different types of approaches, business, finance, and risk models to try and address this opportunity. So micro-utilities is one. It's not completely new. They've existed for decades in China, particularly providing heating and water management services. And also the industry is growing very rapidly. Over the last 20 years, it's been a lot of growth, and right now, this is a 2009 figure, over 502 energy management companies in China, with total asset value exceeding US $9 billion, and they're contributing to significant energy savings. So ground source heat pump systems are very well suited to it. They're easily implemented, they're scalable, and because they don't require connection to the grid, it makes it a lot easier to implement as well. So using ACC's micro-utility as an example of what we call our green utilities approach, this is basically the responsibility of ACC as the micro-utility is system design and installation. We finance, own, and operate the overall heating and cooling system on behalf of the client, which could be a building, a single building with a large energy load, or a series of buildings. And we're also responsible for the ongoing efficiency optimization and operations and maintenance. From the client side, the customer side, by outsourcing this problem, this heating and cooling supply problem to ACC, they save space, they save costs, okay, because they're paying over a long-term basis utilities to ACC that are less than what they would be paying conventional utility companies. And they're of course gaining all kinds of carbon benefits because of the fact that they're using a much more energy efficient system. It can be 30 to 50% more efficient than what the conventional systems that rely on fossil fuels. And so all kinds of sustainability improvements, including less water. Let me just give you an idea. One of the statistics from just a simple ground source heat pump system for domestic use for a house in the US, the number of trees, the sustainability benefits are roughly equivalent to planting 1 acre of trees or removing 2 cars from the road permanently. And that's just from a single home use ground source heat pump system. So there's significant sustainability benefits that you can have. And this just explains, this just explains the micro-utility model. How it works is basically there is a one-time connection fee that the client would need to pay to the micro-utility, and that helps to pay for the plant run and the overall sort of cost of the system. And then on an ongoing basis, you have a long-term utility contract, usually 10 to 15 years, which are based on heating and cooling consumption, metered heating and cooling consumption. So this just goes over again the client benefits of this utility model. Basically, there's all kinds of commercial benefits because by outsourcing the heating and cooling problem to a micro-utility, basically they no longer need to take on the commercial risk. Okay. They don't need to have the financial risk of investing in the system themselves. They can rely on an expert to take care of that. They gain all the sustainability benefits from the perspective of being more green, saving energy, reducing carbon emissions, reducing water consumption. And of course, the operating benefits, there's no risk in terms of the ongoing operations and maintenance. In fact, there's a lot of, just in this example, there's a lot of ground source heat pump projects already in existence in China. And they don't really have a very good reputation because most of them aren't very well designed. They work because there's water flowing in and out and something happens, but they don't have the efficiency. If the micro-utility system, if the micro-utility ourselves as ACC, for instance, if we construct a system that doesn't have the efficiency, well, we're doing a very, very poor business and we're not going to make any money because we're on a long-term basis. We are going to be supplying heating and cooling to our client. So therefore, with the micro-utility model, the onus is on the micro-utility to be maximizing, optimizing that efficiency. That means we have to do our business very well. And the client gains from that because, of course, from their perspective, they get a system that works really well and no risk. So that's basically it. The opportunity awaits. I'm myself not the technical expert, so I won't be able to give you examples of how micro-utilities work in the water sector, but certainly that's something that might be able to explore a little bit later on. If you are interested, the other hat I wear is I'm actually responsible for a new specialized green product sourcing company, so happy to answer any questions about ACC or our green product sourcing company later on. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Mona? Let's just speak alone.
Yeah, sure. So, forgive my ignorance, but the way I understand that your system works is basically transmits heat transfer, right?
Yes.
So it's for air conditioning and for heating of these large buildings.
Yes.
How are you actually metering that? How are you keeping track of energy usage? It's not like there's an electric meter running forward or backward. It's in fact it's a different type of energy usage that you're trying to track.
Actually, the meters would operate very much the same as any types of meters operate in terms of electricity meters or hot water meters. Basically, that's what we're metering. It's the actual consumption of the client.
Consumption of what?
Consumption of hot water or consumption of electricity for cooling. Or consumption, yeah.
So do you generate electricity?
Sorry, we generate the cooling. We basically are generating the cooling, so it would be the amount of.
So you bill for, say, per gallon of hot water at a certain temperature, or per gallon of cold water at a certain temperature?
Yes.
Okay.
So it would be based on usage. Based on usage. Yes.
So yeah, just following that. So you charge, because yeah, it's different from electricity. It depends on the temperature, it depends on the volume. So how do you know what charge? And then bottom line is, do you offer savings to the customer?
Yes. So basically, what happens is the meter is metering the usage. Okay, so whatever it is that we're providing in terms of, usually it's space heating and cooling and hot water. Okay, are the main sort of outputs of the system. The price is negotiated, of course, but it would be based on savings. It would be sort of what's the word again? It would be basically it would be tied to the utility rates. So you would be getting a 5% savings based on whatever the gas price is, natural gas price or standard electricity price. So you would be getting guaranteed savings.
So that's your magic number, 5% less.
That's just a typical, yes, a typical number. Again, this is something which may depend on project to project, but generally clients would be looking for a utility cost saving of around 5 to 10%.
So the question, where do you get your money from?
Well,
For financing, because you have to
yeah,
pay a lot of money.
of course,
for
of
equipment.
course. This is something which we believe in, so we invest in it ourselves. We also get co-investors, of course, and as we build our portfolio of projects, there are already investor groups that we're talking to that would be looking for getting involved in something like this, where you're getting an ongoing, recurring utility model income.
So you're not borrowing from banks or something?
There would be some debt financing
Okay.
as well, yes. Equity and debt financing.
Two-part question.
Yes.
First part is, if I understand your model correctly, and based on my exposure to other companies, I think what you are doing is what some people call the megawatt model. By saying, were you to conventionally heat or cool this building using utility rate consumption, you would be consuming at this level. By putting a constant temperature load in the building, we just provide a delta up or down from that ground temperature load. And that's where the savings are represented, because you're achieving a specific stable temperature by pumping water at a constant temperature up
Yeah.
and creating an ambient temperature within the building. So what you're saying is we're going to save you money that you would have spent otherwise. It's not a metered model. It's called a negawatt model, negative kilowatts, against a performance-based contract, typically. Correct?
Well, it's a metered model from the perspective of,
Well,
I don't
what
know if
you-
it's metered model, but that's how we get sort of paid, although there is an agreed baseline of
Right.
how much we,
Would have done it otherwise.
yeah, and the amount of consumption that the client would need to be doing at a minimum.
So there's a theoretical model against which you're being measured,
Yeah.
and that's where the
Yeah.
money comes from. Part two is, how many are you operating now?
At present, there have been a number of sort of build transfer contracts. We have not yet got a utility model in operation, which is the reason why, if there's any that are interested, we're looking for some interesting utility contracts. It's a great model. I mean, in terms of the types of barriers which a lot of these energy efficiency projects have in China and everywhere in